Good morning, folks. We got everybody here. Boothie, good morning. Aaron, Nomads Galaxy, good morning. I know. Open up the stream. I'm late. I apologize. We got a little bit behind today. I had to reset up everything. The entire OBS crashed. So that's kind of what I've been doing. It's been a mad sprint trying to get things ready in the last 4 minutes. So cool. 10 Talon, good morning. Reth, good morning. Kitcherel. Steven Machado was first. Good morning. Good morning. We're back on Prusawire today. Cybertech, good morning. Yeah, back on Prusawire today. Did some wiring and stuff. If you caught the short that I posted earlier this week, I did some wiring, and then that's the last time I've touched it. I got really busy. Didn't have a lot of time this week up until today. Good morning, Rye Guy. Nathan, good morning. And so a little bit behind. I do apologize to all of you for being a little bit late, but we're going to see how far we get today. I need to do firmware still. I need to do the Stealthburner Toolhead still. And I think disconnect some motor wiring to the main board, and that should be about it. Obviously tuning and all that kind of stuff, but pretty damn close, and I'm excited about it. Firmware super easy. I love to hear that because normally it's not. I'll tell you, I'm still fighting with the rat rig over there. The IDEX stuff is driving me nuts. I basically need to, I think this is what I'm told. I'm told I need to tear it down to single tool head and CoreXZ only, disable the hybrid system, tune it there, and then add the hybrid system back on and add the IDEX back on. And that's a lot. Joseph, good morning. Late for the show. Yeah, so challenges on firmware always suck. I know, it's a lot, Aaron. Yeah, not excited. That's why I haven't touched it in the last probably 2 months since we built it. I printed with it, I think, twice, and it was doing okay, but I wasn't getting really good input shaper results at all, and the prints were just kind of okay, so a lot more work to do there. Send it to you, tune it for me. Why don't you just come over and tune it here? Oh yeah, but let's see what other updates we have in the shop. I got some really cool PETG in. I was excited about this. So if you guys don't know, Voxel PLA, or sorry, Voxel Filament, they make a lot of PLA and they make some PETG now. They have this new PETG that they are calling Galaxy PETG. So there's 4 different flavors, and they sent me a 4-pack. So I don't do a lot of PETG, but this is very nice. It's like a silk with a ton of glitter. And there's like a purple, there's a goldish looking one, there's a green one, and a blue one. And I was able to pick up all 4 of them. They're local to me, actually. They're down in LA. So it got here within a 2-day period, which is pretty cool. Hey, good afternoon, Leonard. Captain Kern, good morning. Send it to Mitch 3D for a backpack build. That thing is a beast. That rat rig, obviously 3030 frame, right? But I also put all the Mandela Roseworks stuff that they offer onto it. And so that, coupled with being IDEX and all the other things, it's got steel bottom panels, steel back panel. It's a solid, over 100 pounds printer. It's pretty damn heavy. I thought my Voron 350 was big with an easy bake frame. That thing is big. It's taller than an H2D. It's almost as tall as my Delta. So, good stuff. So new PETG in the shop. What else? Side projects going well. I'll post about that when I'm able to. That one is really cool, and I'm super excited to share it with you guys later. What else? We had new parts for the Infinity Flow come in, and that's essentially just a if you do a lot of batch printing or you want to use up a lot of partial spools, you can put it on the infinity flow and it just continues to flow filament through after runout, which is pretty cool. So I got in on the initial buy for that one, and then they released an update recently, and so they offered up upgrade parts, and I need to do that eventually on stream. All of that said, I'm off this week, so potential for multiple streams this week, just trying to get some content out there, showing you guys what I'm doing in the shop. I was out here a lot yesterday morning, nothing worth streaming though, just kind of cleaning up, getting the stream set up, added some new monitors and stuff like that, so now hopefully I can manage better what's going on. New workbench is coming in, and so basically everything behind the scenes that you can't see on camera right now is changing, and I'm super excited to do that. So probably tomorrow or next day we'll be out here improving the stream a little bit, hopefully making it nicer for you. Cool. So let me show you where we are on Prusawire. Just jump into it. This is a little further along than where we left off last week. I got the bed installed. It is not torqued down, so there is some movement in there. The center needs to be tightened first, and then we'll go around and make slight adjustments to get our bed all nice and where it needs to be. I just have the probe sort of draped over the top here. I've not even tensioned the belts. You can see there's a lot of slop in there. And yeah, we'll get to all of that at some point. The wiring I did, if you didn't catch the short that I made earlier in the week, this is the wiring here. It's about as clean as it's gonna be. Maybe trim some of these wires here, add another tie point or something like that, but everything goes into some Wagos and then comes across to the main board. I'm using a Big Tree Tech Pi, and of course we're going to do the Nighthawk here. So I got to figure out the best way to run that USB cable from this port up and around, sort of out the back of the machine and over top to the tool head that'll be up here. So a lot of things going on. Cleaner than yours. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. You have a very confined space here, and there's not a lot of room for things and stuff. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But on to wiring. Aaron, I am curious which ports you plugged your motors into. Are you just sticking with the stock locations on the main board here? Because if I look at my Chrome tab, and I look at the Prusa site, this is how they want me to wire up my main board. So am I just connecting everything to its stock location? Hey Birdman, any weather? Good morning. X to X, Y to Y, Z to Z1. Okay, so we're just connecting to the stock location. Raj D, good morning. So I had assumed that, but I wasn't quite sure. So I'm glad we are able to talk about it and figure it out. All right, so looking at, that bottom left corner schematic there, looks like Y motor is this second from the top. My Y motor is like barely long enough to be able to do that. I think I'm gonna snip that zip tie that I put on there to free up an extra few millimeters. Try not to snip the motor wire. There we go. And that'll give me an extra, 10 millimeters or something, so that wire is not super tight. And then we can sort of just tuck that in past the power panic. And then there's enough slack in there now to be good to go. One of the other things that I think I need to do is build a cable from the Pi over to this so that it can communicate. Automatic, there is that Pi header on there, and it's meant to have a Pi 0 on the back side, So one of these. So you put this on the back side of the INZ board, and the pins, these long pins, come through that port and make that connection. But using a full-size Pi, now I need to make a cable to run up this side and then insert into here. So I did not make that. Don't forget to plug in the Gravitron drive. Yeah. Hey Nomad, I'm glad you're here, man. I'm super interested in the what'd you guys call it? The big positron. I know that's something we've been talking about for a long time, but happy to see that you guys finally released it. Is there a lot of interest in that machine, or that concept, or whatever you want to call it there? From what I could tell, it seemed like you got a lot of likes on it. What am I doing? Oh, I need... Oh. I still think we should call it Megatron. The Proton, thanks, yeah. Yeah, I know I have access. I'm just saying that it seems like the community is very interested in it. There was a lot of buzz around it the other day, I noticed. What else do we need to do here? So here are the hot end wires. Nomad's DMs are fuller than a college girl on break. Oh man, I love that. I love that. Fuller than a fat man at a buffet. Okay, I need that, and then this is my, I think that's like a fan extension that we might need, and then not using the filament sensor, I guess. Nomad, you know it's true. Hey Steve, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Just getting some of the wiring done here on the Prusawire. So we've got it all built, beds on. I've got Y belts on, tensioned, things like that. So just plugging in things, hopefully fire her up, get some firmware loaded, that kind of stuff. Still need to do a tool head as well, but coming along just fine. I failed to print the new knob. I just noticed that. I forgot to do the knob for the display on the front, but that's just a beauty thing. It'll be fine without it for now. Oh, Steve, guess what? I just remembered that we're doing Orange County Maker Faire next week. I did not remember that until last night. It popped up on my calendar, and I was like, holy crap, I forgot we were even doing that. I think I'm going to go on Saturday. That way it doesn't impact the streaming at all, and I can keep to a schedule. But I think my goal is to go on Saturday. So if you're there, I'll see you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this cover on for the bed to hold those wires in there nice. Bring the Prusawire? I could. You think it's a good idea? I could bring the Prusawire. I don't know that I'll have it done though, unless I go ham on it this week. Yeah, if I go crazy on it this week and get it done, and hopefully printing, then yeah, I'll bring it. Are you planning to be there, Nomad? Put it in the Phoenix. Oh yeah, so we could print high temps. Yeah, I'm excited for the new Phoenix as well. I don't know that I'll ever own one. It's way too big for me and what I normally print. And so I will probably never own one, but I do really like it. I think a lot of the reasoning for having developed something like that is so that you can trickle it down to other projects. So there's probably a lot of, I don't know, design changes and updates and things like that that could flow down to, you know, the V2 and maybe even the Trident. So that's why I'm jazzed about things like the Phoenix. But I'm having a hard time seeing chat. Again, we get the new streaming setup, so things are not as great as I would like them to be yet. But we're getting there. If you have the Stealthburner, you can finish it in 2 hours. Yeah, I've already got the Stealthburner printed out. Yeah, no, but I knew you were in Philly, man. I just didn't know if you were going to fly down or whatever. Phoenix is why you haven't gotten a large-scale printer yet. Yeah. I still have that Radrig 400, which, again, I know is not Phoenix-sized, but it's still pretty large for what it is, and I don't even have room for that. So, investing in a Phoenix is not something I'm interested in doing right now. I may be moving next year, so I don't want to continue to add anything to the setup, because then I have to move it. I've already been trying to slim down on printers and things and stuff anyway. I'm not doing the best job. I thought I would be more aggressive at it, and I just haven't had the time. Lego Therapy, good morning. Like, subscribe, share. Travel budget is booked for Prague. That's not a bad deal. Good morning, Spectre V3. I think you were asking about Prusawire the other day, yeah? Okay, so that's Y motor. This is... Well, hold on. So one thing I just thought about, Aaron. You said Y motor to YXX, right? But my Y motor is my Z motor, and then my X motor is my X motor. My actual Y is the extruder motor. So I think I just need to, I gotta think through that, because this is actually my Y axis. Been there a few times for work. I've never been to Prague. Hey, good morning, Projects in Dad's Garage. Never been to Prague, would love to go. So if I'm thinking about this right, what used to be my extruder motor is now my Y motor. And so that needs to go into the Y port. And then what used to be my Y motor is now my Z motor. So that goes into the Z port. You with NATO for a few years? That's cool. Okay, and then my X motor is still my X, and so that goes into the X port, which is this top. So I think that's correct. I ordered but have not received yet the new connections for this, because Prusa uses different connectors. I want to shorten up this cable and maybe this X motor cable a little bit, so I don't have to, you know, do the Prusa thing where you just jam everything in there like that and then cover it up. Like, I don't want to do that to you, to whoever wins this and takes it home. Like, I want to make it nice, so I will end up shortening this cable by about that much as soon as I get those pins. X motor to X, E to Y, Y to Z. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Thanks for the verification on that one. So yeah, I need to get those, but it's like a 2-week turnaround to get those things in. I didn't order them until the other day. That's that. Okay, so motors are in, bed is connected and on. We have the new strain relief cap on there. I still have my probe wire, and I like that there's a detail right here to secure. And you can't see that. Let's move this camera up a little bit. There's a small detail. There we go. There's a small detail here that you can secure your wiring harness. And then if I use the Nighthawk cable that came in the kit, that's going to do the same thing. So I've got one end of the Nighthawk that will go into the board underneath, and this needs to come out somewhere, and then the cable will go around like that, and we'll secure both of those together, and there's enough in there to really hold that. Please don't shorten the motor wires. Oh yeah, I'm not. That's going to be one of the last things that I do. Still working on B2 and Y motor position may change. Yeah, that'll be the last thing that I do. I'm trying to wait for whatever changes you guys have. Again, we're not giving this away. The raffle doesn't really open until later. So we've got a few weeks before I need to ship this off to whoever the winner is. And so I will update it to whatever the latest spec is before we have to ship this out. So if B2 is out by then I'll update the changes to B2. Otherwise, it'll go out this way, and the owner will have the option to update or not. So that's what I'm thinking. Simply because I need to start working on the V0 next. I don't know if you can see it down here, but the H2D is hard at work printing parts for that project right now. It's actually printing parts for my X1 Carbon, which I need to update, do some deep clean maintenance on, and I may stream that this week. But I got to take that one offline, do a bunch of updates on it, and then between the H2D and the Bamboo Lab, we're going to print all the parts for the V0, and that filament for that from West 3D shows up tomorrow. So once I get that, should be able to start printing parts for the V0. Good morning, Petty Ruxpin. Okay, what else can we do here? So bed is good to go. Let's make sure that goes through full travel without too much cable strain. Okay, that looks good. Great. Let's see, wiring here. Should I just plug these in for now? Looks like this probe goes. Let's see. Oh, Pinda. Okay, up top here. Like that. That's the original Pinda probe there. Again, using as much of the stock equipment as possible. There's a small slot on the right-hand side of the board where that cable should be able to go in. Robin B, good morning. Let it go like that. And then our Nighthawk cable. That's the hard one. Like, what do I do with this? I would love to put it in between the board and the bed, because as you push that bed forward, there's a small gap. It might be hard to see, but this gap here between the rear panel and the frame itself is enough to allow this cable to go through. But as that bed moves, it may rub the cable, and I don't really like that. The clearance between the bed itself and the edge, it's not very much, but also the cable is not super long. So thinking about that one, we may move that Nighthawk. Let's turn this over. So for now, I've got the bed a little bit here. Okay, there we go. Now we can see what's going on. move you this way. All right, so right now I've got the Nighthawk up here. Potentially I could put it here, and that would help with routing the wire and not being too short. I thought this cable was a little bit longer than it is. It's roughly 1 meter long. I thought it was like 1.5 meters. But putting that up here, I take this off. Putting that up here. It's almost like that's not right. Is this correct? Okay, there we go. So putting that there, I can route this through the center. So that'll go like that. And then this needs to come up this right side. I'm just placing things where they need to be so I can sort of get an idea of how this is going to work out. Again, using that same cutout on the side of the main board. There are zip tie points on the side of the key back, which is great. So that goes that way, and then this should come over to the tool head like that. So I think we barely have enough cable to do that. If we go full right, full left, I think that'll be okay. But we have just enough cable. Robin B is literally sourcing parts right now for the Prusawire. Good. Already have a Nighthawk SB, KB3D out of the heated. Yeah, that's what I ran into. They didn't have new heated beds. I need to phone a friend. No, I'm good. I just need to visualize things sometimes. Got bottom right to check length. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Just routing things where they need to be, or roughly where they're going to be, so that I can check to see. And I think that's good. The only thing I'm worried about is this cable rubbing on the belts as it comes over the top of the printer. As it comes over the top of the printer and, you know, moves here, the belts are going to be right on top. So how is that, you know, rubbing on the belts? I'm a little worried about that. But the routing, I think, is fine. If I need to get a little more length on the cable, what I could do is move the block down, which I think I'll do anyway, just to be sure. So if we just loosen this up and move the module down, that'll give us a little bit of extra cable, so we can put some slack in it. You know, tuck it up nice, zip tie to the frame here, that kind of stuff. Not an issue there. There's an echo? Anybody else hearing an echo? Mute your desktop audio. Okay. Still got the echo. You can get a Triangle Labs bed. No echo, no echo. Okay. Yeah, I've never had an echo before. Not sure why that was a thing for you. Audio playing back somewhere. I've got no speakers. There's an echo, guys. Yeah, I've got no speakers anywhere. I'm not really sure why you're hearing one. Let me see. Check my cameras to make sure that the microphones are off. They should not have any microphones on any of the cameras, but the stream did sort of crash, so it's possible. Possible. The music is covering it up. You're not trolling your well, we did have some stream issues earlier, and so it may have reset everything. I just don't know how to do audio. I mean, the microphones are disabled on all of my cameras, so I'm not sure why that's a thing. Yeah, I don't have any Nomad has 2 tabs of the same stream, being genuine. I believe you, Nomad. I've never heard that before. My webcams are not, all the mics are disabled on my webcams, and so I'm not sure why. Here, okay, let's kill the music. Are you guys hearing? But not enough to bother. I would just press on. Yeah, I'm not hearing any kind of audio, anything. My mics are disabled. Now you don't hear it. Oh, you guys are killing me. That's so funny. All right, well, maybe we'll just leave the music off, and that way it gets rid of anything. Oh, you know what I didn't do though? I forgot to open up the giveaway. So let me do that for you all, and I'll post that in chat. Let's see. So we can do that. All right, let me share this in. And then that way we have the giveaway. I got so distracted this morning, I did not do that. The dress is blue. All right, so there's your filament giveaway. We're going to give away some LDO filament. So if you want to try it, never seen it, now you can do so. Shrimp Daddy. It was not an echo. I don't know, maybe Nomad is full of it. Getting old and starting to hear double. Anyway, I do appreciate it. Yeah, as always, guys, if there are issues on the stream, let me know, because I have no idea unless you say something. I mean, other than, you know, camera's not working, I don't hear the same audio that you all do. Okay. So yeah, that cabling does look fine, I think. Let's see, pull that through. I wanted to sort of tuck that in this corner here, but it's very tight up against the board, where the board comes through. So let's see if I can slide it in there without pressing on a connector too much. There we go. There's just enough room in there for a cable to come through. It's almost like it was designed that way. Alright, so that one comes through. I plug in my power panic again. that comes through. We could tuck that probe in there and put this cable on top. And then my probe wire and my Nighthawk can move together here in the space that is meant to sort of stick out. So something like that is what I'm going for. And then loosely, we can put some zip ties on here. I don't want to tighten anything down, but I'm going to put a couple zip ties on loosely so that it holds things in place and they're not flopping around. And then we'll leave room in here to add any additional cables if we need to. So that's on, that's loose. That's just keeping things in place. So again, loose. Hey GTR Dad, good morning. Hella be smart like that. Yeah, I love zip tie points. Like, I wish they were all over every machine. They're not that hard to design, and they help so much. Is it gonna be Cassian Andor's blaster? I don't even know who that is. I know blaster means like a laser gun or something, but I don't know who that person is. So on there, loosely holding things into position. Good. Cables going that way. I think we should probably do a Stealthburner next, because I don't want to make a cable yet for the Pi, although I need to. All right, so here is the thing and the stuff. Let me turn off that one. Yeah, we'll turn that one off. And move my monitor a little bit here. Blaster question for Shrimp. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I didn't catch everything. About to do some maintenance on the A1 to start a blaster. Okay. Yeah, so his A1 is a 3D printer, and blaster, I don't know. It's probably like a Nerf blaster though. Okay, so I've got the original wiring here for my what came with the machine was this Revo V6, and so that's what you're gonna get. I'll give you some new silicone socks here as part of the deal, just to make it as nice as possible and give you a clean start. One thing I did run into was the thermistor was a little bit short, so I added this extension on here, but I'm afraid that the connection is a little bit too big. And so I'm not confident that I'm gonna leave that there. I think I might just reuse the other one that it came with. So this is the one that it came with here, and we'll shorten this up and use a extension to the Nighthawk board. This guy here. Talking blasters now? No. Lego Therapy and Shrimp Daddy are talking blasters now. I did see your post though that you had made a whole collection of blasters. I saw your short come out. Printing misplaced mooses, 31K Nerf West. Just oh, dude. Shrimpfather, drop a link to that in the chat. Let me make you a mod. Yeah, drop a link in there so we can all see what you're talking about. How many are you up to now, Projects in Dad's Garage? How many blasters? I've not built a single blaster, but I'm not a Nerf guy. I've also not done any sort of RC car or any of that stuff. I would love to do a Death Racer. I don't have a Death Racer kit though. I did get a 3D Sets Sakura kit, and I have not even printed parts for it. I got it after Rocky Mountain, and I have not done the things necessary to make it a reality. If I ask Boothie what he thinks about it, he's gonna tell me hell no. My best good buddy Boothie keeps me grounded and focused on what this channel is supposed to be, and that's supposed to be niche, crazy 3D print stuff. Not to say I'll never build, you know, a kit printer or anything like that. I genuinely do love those, but I like the more niche kind of stuff. Sakura kit is so nice looking. Yes, I agree. I need to find the right film. Am I going to 3D Printopia? I don't think so. I had not planned to go anyway, but if West 3D needs help and they reach out to me and we can work something out, then I'll go. Otherwise, no. And as of right now at 8:15 on 7 September, no, I'm not going. It's cross country for me, and even getting device up in Portland was not in the cards this year. So going to 3D Printopia, definitely not in the cards this year. Okay. Hot in is good. I built this extruder off stream. I did film it, but I haven't posted it, haven't edited it or anything like that. I need to. I did go ahead and put the filament sensor in here. That's why you're seeing this in stop. But I need to solder on a couple of wires and then run those up to the board and find an open port. I think we're gonna run sensorless homing anyway, and so I can use. Actually, there's not even an X. So this is your in stop here. So you have 5V XY and ground. So I think that would be my in stop port if I were gonna do one. But I could use it as a run out sensor. So I need to add that on. But the way I like to do it, build the extruder, and there are a bunch of tutorials and stuff out there you can watch on how to do it. And then just install that. I like to do a little bit of each screw at a time. Honestly, these are probably a bit too long. We'll see here in a second if they bottom out before getting tight. Use the XY joint, yeah. Yeah, I just need to solder on a couple of cables. So 2 wires there, and route those back under the board, of course, and into this port. And I think the better way, I was thinking about this yesterday while trying to think through the live stream today. I'm thinking, and let's see more professional thoughts on this, but if I get some of these connections, right? So I have these smaller JST, these slide on to a in-stop pin. And so if I don't want to solder, I should be able to crimp this with a 30 gauge wire and then just slide that onto the pin, and that would serve as a connection without having to solder. Am I right in thinking that's fine? Hey 3D Medic Vince, good morning. Because that's what I want to do. I just want to slide on a couple JST connections onto that end stop instead of having to solder, and I think I can get away with that. So that's that, and then what I've got here is just a high chance of shorting something when it shakes loose. No, they would be very tight. They'd be very tight, and then not only would I just put the connection on there, I'd do a small piece of heat shrink and then slide that over the connection and then shrink that down. So the chance of shorting something is not as great. Because right now, the board, between the board and those pins, it's really difficult to see. So there are your 3 pins for your in stop. There's your board. There's roughly 2 to 3 millimeters in between. Maybe even more, maybe up to 5. And so I don't know that anything would be close enough to short. And then especially once you heat shrink that on, but in time with use, things tend to get loose. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But even when shaking around in vibrations, would it not break the solder joint over time as well? Point being, there's no perfect solution for any of this. And over time, wires do wear out with movement. But anyway, this kit is a rainbow barf kit. Easier to solder. You haven't seen my skills. I'm not the best solder guy. But back to this, right? So I've got this kit. This is a rainbow barf kit. I don't run Stealthburners anymore on my Vorons. I bought this for one of my Vorons and I didn't use it. And so I thought this would be a great project to use it on. This is a rainbow barf board, so you'll get multicolor at your logo here. And then you'll have white nozzle LEDs as well. Single spacer may be the most expensive component if you have to order it from. What spacer? Let me check all of my spares to see if you have. What spacer? I got lost. I'm sorry. All right. So the way that this one works is I've got a carrier here for a regular LED. I don't know that that works for a rainbow barf, but this one did come with the printed parts in clear PETG. Oh, the bed spacer in the middle. Yeah. You can get them if you're in the States, Robin B. You can get them from Printed Solid. Nomad told me about that one. He also recommended that you get the expansion joints. So for what it's worth, I mean, he's the guy, so he would know. All right, so this is the lens, and there should be a carrier for the lens. A small black printed part that looks like this. Okay, and so the lens, the PETG lens, goes in the black parts, and that's to help with light bleed and stuff like that, and just to really focus the light coming through only the clear pieces. So once you put that in like so, slide this down inside of your Stealthburner housing. Again, this is where the pick comes into play. We don't have one of these. One of these. Oh, you got the expansion joint, but can't find the spacer. Man, that would be my go-to. I don't know. I think any hex, what are they called? Spacer, I guess? Standoff. Something like this might help you. I don't know the height that you need off the top of my head, but these are brass, and so if you needed to sand it down to a certain height, you could do that. And if it's difficult for you to find just that one spacer, this might be a viable option. You're going to use a lot of these spacers anyway if you build multiple printers, so might not be a bad idea to pick one of these up. Whatever's easier for you, whatever is most cost efficient. Sorry, I don't have a better answer. Drop that in there, press this in with my pick. Just try to, doesn't want to. There we go. It's always the hardest part, is to get this thing in that tight spot when you can't get your fingers in there. So having a tool like a pick or a Allen key or something to help you do that. It's gonna be beneficial. Mine just doesn't want to go in whatsoever. Oh, just money for a single aluminum tube? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just get yourself a set of those standoffs. Set of those standoffs are 10 bucks maybe, and then you have spares for all kinds of things without having to pay big money for a single spacer. But you do what you want to. Come on. This thing just doesn't want to sit flush in there. The hardest part of the Stealthburner assembly, in my opinion, is getting this thing to sit right. Okay, so I'm gonna try it this way. I'm gonna try to put this mask in there first, and then I'll try to do the lens afterwards. Right. So that's in. Mask is in. Flush as it can be. And then we'll drop the lens in here. Is it keyed a certain way? I think so. Need to go this. I think it is keyed a certain way. There it goes. Just a tight fit. The glass fiber ABS is not as slippery as other ABSs, and so trying to get it where it needs to be is hard. Okay. Before I put this in, it's a good idea to make sure that your pins are what they're supposed to be. These come terminated, but without the housing. So you got to figure out what housing order this needs to be, or else your LEDs are not going to work, and it's going to be tough to get it out of there and redo everything. So check it out first. 39 people, 16 likes. Come on, listen to Lego Therapy. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's talking about. Morning, Jeremy. Building up the Stealthburner for the Prusawire, because this is one of the last things that I need to do. I got to do this. Got to do the firmware stuff. And that's kind of it, man. Like, we're so close. So close. Okay, so looking at LED, I believe it's this port here on the Nighthawk. Oh, by the way, we are using a Nighthawk here, man. The Stealthburner version of the Nighthawk, because I don't like problems. Too soon? I don't remember what the pinout is for this one, so over to Chrome. Get set up with a Nighthawk pinout. Let's go to GitHub. Maybe under hardware. Which version do we have here? 1.4. So you get the newest version of the Nighthawk. Way up the top. Well, that's the 36. That's the wrong one. We need the SB. Repos, and then let's go in here for Nighthawk. SB. Hardware. Great. Dramatic? Nope. Image. You know. There it is. That's what we needed. Oh, that's funny. When you open it in a new tab, it doesn't show everything. Throwing some shade as soon as he shows up. Oh yes, absolutely. I don't know how many times I said it yesterday. Cool. So we're gonna do that. But Jeremy, did you ever get yours working though? I know you were having issues with the CAN network and whatnot. I think this is the correct. It's too small of a connector. So if this is too small of a connector to connect there, that means these pins are also not the right pins. We'll have to swap those out for the big size. And that H2D over there is making some noise. It's got the whole machine shaking. Here, I'll show you this really quick. Look at that thing shaking back there. And it's squeaking along too. All right, so to do this, we're gonna remove these connections. And we'll do that with a quick snip. And then we'll get out my favorite tool. If you guys don't have one of these, you can pick these up at West 3D. They're pretty affordable. I think roughly $20 for this thing. But ergonomically, they work better. They work like this instead of the other kind that you have to sort of work like a squirt pistol. This one holds the wire and strips, so it happens really quickly. Yeah, I really like this one. Just taking maybe 3 or so millimeters off the end of that wire, and it's got a clear sheeting on it, so it's really hard to see. It looks white on screen from what I can see. And we'll just add three new connections here. Do that, and then we need a 3-pin AST. We get our PA09 crimping pliers here. I like to go ahead and pre-close the big end of that so it'll fit in my tool, and I just hold it in the tool like so. That way I can just slip the wire in here and I don't need 3 hands to hold everything. I like to crimp the insulation first like that, and then rock that out of there and crimp the wire side of it with one size smaller. So I'm using the 1.9 side, and then I move up to the 1.6 side for the wire crimp. And that has not really ever failed me. You can tug on that, make sure it stays on, don't pull too hard. We'll do 3 of these and we'll figure out what goes where. That's the cool thing that I like about the LDO stuff, is they provide you hardware that can be adapted to a different situation. So you'll notice most of the things are not crimped, and that's by design so that you can set it up however you like for your printing. And it's the case, this is intended for the Stealthburner, but it's the case for this one as well, that the end of the cable is not fully fill out. The end of the cable for the Nighthawk is not crimped with connections, depending on how you want to set it up. There, and last crimp here, and then we'll look at pinouts to make sure that we go into the right port. All right, I like to use my end connection here, my JST, as a guide, so I'll just sort of place that in like so. I didn't press it all the way in, I just got it sitting in there, and then from there I'll take my wiring and just plug it in. That way get a lot less confused on what goes where. All right, so if I bring up my cheat sheet again, my Chrome tab here, and we move this to a suitable location. Yeah, we had to set up a lot of stream today. Get that out of the way a little bit there. And then if I do these bad Johnnies, it looks like looking at my ports on the top should be ground. Oh, that's my probe port. That's not even the right port. Are we saying there is no RGB on this? Did I just crimped that for no reason? Oh no. Okay, back to Chrome here. All right. So if I look at this, that's my probe port. So I definitely don't want to connect that. I'm going to feed 24 volts to my LEDs, and that's not going to be a good time. I'm not seeing a probe port then. So maybe we are not able to have LEDs. Hey, good morning, Almighty Malachi. Is it on the fan side? Nighthawk SB logo. Okay, cool. PCB pin? No. Okay, so that's all the stuff. What's this one? More of the stuff. Okay, so maybe it's on the fan board. Did I just cut those things for no reason? Yep, it sure is. It sure is. So on this one, part fan, LED port is right here. So I did not need to recrimp those. I feel like a dummy. Did not need to recrimp those, but you have a part cooling fan here, hot end fan here, and 5-volt LEDs here. I should have looked at that more carefully before doing what I did. But, you know, live and learn. All right, so these were actually correct from the start. Let's cut them again and redo them. But anyway, it's practice, right? If we're practicing for doing crimps. If you don't practice, how do you ever expect to be good? Something like that. All right, with this tool, I can pretty much crimp all 3 of these at the same time. Like that. Another benefit of the tool. Get some stuff here. Get things out of the way. All right. Those are all crimped. We can go right back to where we were and put the smaller ones on there. Because I did not pay attention. Alright. And so I'm thinking too, if I can do my probe port here, I don't need to run that extra cable all the way back to the board. I can just place it here. As long as it's 24 volt. LEDs on the breakout board. Yeah, we figured it out a little bit too late. But here we are. That's me not paying attention. This is the first time I'm using a Stealthburner version of the Nighthawk. So I had forgotten that LEDs are on the fan board. There is no... I didn't see in the GitHub a schematic for it though. But it is labeled on the board pretty clearly. But you've got... You got part cooling fan, LED. You got what you need as far as information on the board itself. So need to use XY ports on the board. 10 days 5 volt. Yeah. Yeah. So if we're gonna use it, we would have to use that XY ports on the board there. But if I'm using it for the in-stop, I'm sorry, the filament runout sensor, then it's not available. So maybe we just leave it plugged into the board. That's probably the easier way for the config anyway. And then the runout sensor being an addition that was never on the original Prusa, probably best to have that on the Nighthawk. And it's connected to the toolhead anyway, so it'd be, I don't know, best in my opinion. So something else that happened before stream too. So not only did we walk in and have everything be reset on Streamlabs, but it was like a huge mess in the house. I guess a soda or something exploded just inside the garage door in the laundry room there. And so my wife's fussing at me. She's like, "Hey, did you spill something in here?" I'm like, "No, I have no idea what you're talking about." And she's like, "There's a mess all over the place." I had no idea. Like, I had no clue that it was even a thing. But we were dealing with that, trying to clean up too. So another reason for being a little bit delayed. Okay. Let's see. We use this. Top port voltage. Middle is your output or data, and then bottom is ground. So doing this as voltage here. And looking at the board, voltage would be 5 volts. That goes like so. And I need some sort of plier here to pull this out. That one is very tight. All right, so share 5 volts there. And then in the center, looking at the board, using that as my schematic, the middle pin will be your ground pin. So come over here. Ground pin is that bottom wire. And it gets a little messy in here with everything being so tight. That's this one here, and this goes to the center of the connection. So that's good. And then, you know, process of elimination, you have your last wire, and that's going to go in the final. Again, a little bit of a tug test to make sure those stay where they need to be. And then those are our LEDs wired up. So now, your main, I like to do the main LED first. And this one goes, it will insert like this, kind of go down inside there. You're not going to be able to see that once it does, but it's part of the game. Right, so place your LED in here. It should sort of clip in there with some friction and stay where it needs to be. A happy good morning. Finishing up Prusawire today. That board looks very large for this space. Like, I don't know how that is supposed to. May have to trim some bits off here on the LED carrier. Just a little bit. I'm gonna snip this here. Take like a millimeter of plastic off. Let's see if that is. There it goes like that. So when that goes in, LED's out. When that goes in, wires come out the bottom. Hi, Dad. Okay, and so these will go in face down. So this should slip in there a lot easier than the way the original carrier and LED. Assuming that they're pressed in as much as they need to be. And they might not be. Or maybe. Here we go. Come on. Yeah, I think maybe it's just not fully seated in there. Press on that a little bit. See if we can get this. Again, always the hardest part, getting these LEDs in there because things are so sensitive. You might break it. Trying not to, but you do have to use a good amount of force to get things in. Come on, you. I don't know. I just feel like maybe there's some extra plastic in there that I need to trim away. How do I get to it, though? Yeah, Projects in Dad's Garage does have a very nice workbench. His setup is really cool. Nice huge work surface to have multiple printers at the same time. Also some pretty good camera angles as well. He's doing great. If you're not subscribed to the Projects in Dad's Garage YouTube channel, you really should be. There's a lot of good stuff over there. I think you guys just finished up a Micron, I believe, and did like a box turtle and did some Trident stuff. Like a lot of cool projects over there on that channel. Jeez. I don't know why this is not. Why it doesn't really want to go in, but it does not want to go in today. You guys need to stay out of the way. And I think I can turn off. Yeah, I love the. I don't know. Projects in Dad's Garage. What is your plan for your extrusions that you have on your workbench there? You plan to do like monitors and all that kind of stuff? Start printing the stuff for them? Okay, I'm seeing what's happening here. I feel like that lens LED is sticking out too much. And it's not allowing a smooth transition in. So let's see if we can press that down at all. I mean, I feel like it's in as far as it's going to be in. But it's definitely not. It's hanging up on the LEDs as they try to go in there. Have one monitor up there, need to get a second. Yeah. Oh, multi-board. That'd be cool. Yeah, I just picked up a second monitor. I don't have as set up a space as you. I'd like to. I just don't have the space yet. I think over time we'll get there. Maybe the rain barf needs a different diffuser. It came with these as a kit. So the diffuser is a rainbow barf diffuser, for sure. I think maybe the housing is not a rainbow barf housing. I'm just seeing a lot of interference with certain pieces of the carrier. So I'm gonna just trim that off of there. Do a little bit of trimming at a time. That initial corner there is the one that's hitting on the housing, on the Stealthburner face. Don't break it. There it goes. It's starting to go now. That little bit of a trim helped. There it goes. There we go. You guys better love this. That was painful. All right, Logo Therapy, see you, buddy. Thanks for swinging by for a little bit. you guys aren't subscribed to Lego Therapy and you're into Lego or building things, go check him out. Always building cool Lego stuff over there on the YouTubes. Sort of cracked it here. Pulling out a couple wispies that are hanging out, making it a little nicer. There we go. Look, we get a really cool Stealthburner face, two-toned with some rainbow bark LEDs. But yeah, we finally got it in there. Thanks for the motivation, Nathan. I think I just needed to trim like one bit of plastic off of there, and then it went right in there. And just making sure it's all the way in there. And I think we're gonna be pretty good with that. All right, and then all of these wirings, right? So the connection will come up like so. And this is all 30 gauge wire. So these are actually going in a lot easier than normal. Trim out that bridging feature. And then tuck that under the spot. Search leads to too many. Lots of Legos. Yeah. Yeah, so if you just click on his profile there, and then it should be able to take you over to his channel. Or if you search Lego Therapy, you might find him over there. I need to modify the housing. We're going to do this nice GDS time fan. Need to modify that to put that in there. And then I need a 40/40 fan to go in this location here. This one goes, so we'll get to pick out. What's crazy, you've not ever been able to click on people's profile. Really? Are you on mobile or are you on the web? I don't know. I feel like I've been able to do it, but I could be wrong. Trying to get those down into their spots. That, and then twist this LED around so that it shines the correct way. That, and then this wire comes across, down, and we slide this LED now. Like that. There we go. And we tuck the wires away. Just let you report or block. Drop links in Discord. Web Chrome. Okay. What are you doing? Yeah, my Discord is getting there. We're starting to get more folks in, and I'm trying to post a lot in there. What I'm working on or what I'm doing, what I see on the internet, that kind of stuff. But we could always use some more love. It's really a place for you all, so I mean, if you don't want to use it, that's fine. Or if you do want to use it and share your projects and communicate with me a little easier, then do it up. I'm in there almost every day. All right, like so, and then snip out this one here. And then that'll let us put these wires beneath. Okay. Pull the LED out. I should have routed those first underneath, and then I can put my LED in there. I like to use my nippers as sort of a handle. Be careful. Don't want to break anything. But use that to position the LED board into little pocket. Come on, get under. Oh, no one wants to play games. Okay. LEDs in the face. All right. That was a chore. Let me find a 4010 fan. It's a 5-volt fan. We don't want that. So the original parts that I got for Prusawire was originally going to be a bare build. So it's got the 5-volt fan and all that stuff for a bare build, and that means the fan was a 5-volt fan. But again, we've got these fancy new GDS Time fans that we can use, and I'll trim this here in a second, but sort of presses in like that. Wiring should come out the back. You can leave it in the clip. I think. Kind of tuck it up in this corner like this, and then slide that in here. Top goes in first, bottom sort of clicks into place. This wiring, again using the pick, I want to press it back down into the little clip on the fan itself, and then you can route it up here with your LED. Press that into the feature. A blunt tool might be a little more helpful. That, and then around. Under that one. Okay, so there are those. Next thing we need to do is modify this 50/15. Looking nice. I appreciate it. Thanks. All right. First thing I do is I take these clips off. So close the eyes. And that'll be good enough to stream with is another question. Yeah. I'm working on improving my stream out here. So the workbench that I'm on right now is 48 inches, so 4 feet long, and 24 inches deep this way, 2 feet wide. Pegboard across the back, and there's a shelf up top here that my camera's mounted to. This camera. What I'm going to, the one that should be delivered either tomorrow or Tuesday, is 5 feet long, so I get an extra foot long, and then the pegboard that's on this back is separate. So if I wanted to do extrusions across the back like you are, I can do that. And I think that is my plan. I would need to model that up to determine how much extrusion I needed and everything. So working on it, getting there. Let's see how this goes. So flipping those off should allow the front face to come free. And then you're just left with the good part. You can throw this in the trash. So that goes in the trash. Next thing you gotta do is clip the ears off. Otherwise, it doesn't fit in the face. Okay. So the way that I do that is I just snip it off. I'll go through the hole with my snippers here and close the eye, snip, close the eye again, snip. That part goes flying. Then we do it over here. Snip, and snip. And then you're still left with these tabs sort of on here. You can do it two ways. If you have a Dremel tool, you can come here and do that. You can do it with a hand file. It just takes a little bit longer. But what I normally do is I will try and trim this down as much as possible with my side cutters. And you can get sort of close. Just nibble away at that. You can see it's all on the desk here. We'll just brush a lot of that away. Using my paintbrushes to do that. Cool. And then from there, I get the file, and I like to do it by hand because you can melt the plastic with the Dremel tool. It just builds up the heat. So if you just get one of these, I get this at the Walmart. I use it to file all sorts of things. You can see it's well loved. But this sort of thing here, make sure you move your wire out of the way. And you can just file on this to get it down to where you need to be. It just takes a few minutes to file it. But yeah, Projects in Dad's Garage, I'm super excited to see your new setup, man. I hope that you do a short or maybe like a behind the scenes look or something like that. I'm always looking for ideas to make mine better. And I think having a dedicated workbench that's big enough for what I need will do the trick. Right now I've got 2 monitors set up, but it's only on a 4-foot desk, so it's pretty tight. I've got the surface that I'm working on right now, and then about the same size to my left for my keyboard and mouse. So if you have any suggestions or recommendations, I'll take them. And so almost there, you can see that's already much improved from the way that it was. We still got more to do. Just try to kind of cut that off of there. Like I said, not too tough to get that down. And then again, we'll get all this dust out of the fan if there's any in there. And it doesn't need to be absolutely crazy flush. There's some room in there to have a bit sticking out, but you definitely want most of it out of the way. So if you want to do what I'm doing and kind of measure out how much more you have to go, on this left side, the side we're filing, that little bit of a nub should be fine. But we will need to take this one down to almost flush to be able to clear that outside feature there. And that one's a little more involved. Hey, LTX Design, good morning. We're finishing up the super. I was gonna say Super Prusa, but the Prusawire. Finishing up the Switchwire, so we're building these Stealthburner face. I did not prep these fans before stream. I got super busy this week, so we're just cutting the ears off, getting the face good to go. Wiring is pretty much done for now. I've got the bed on, and so we can do the Stealthburner face, and then plug things in. Should be able to power on. I was having trouble yesterday flashing an SD card for the Big Tree Tech Pi. For whatever reason, it was just giving me errors and it wouldn't flash an SD card. So I grabbed a different card and flashed that one. It seemed to work. We'll find out. I have not put it in the machine and powered on yet, so we'll see if I'm right or not. Almost there, a little more. Wish they would just sell these fans without the housing on it like that, and they're already filed to what you want. I think that's fine. Should work. Get the vacuum out and vacuum this place. That should be good to go. Try it out here. Been having trouble getting a Stealth Max to flash. Yeah, well, I wonder what's going on with that. Like, it seems like everybody's having flashing issues. So Lee Marie was struggling with CAN yesterday, and I was struggling with getting the Big Tree Tech firmware to flash. And now you're saying you had trouble with it? Like, what is going on? What is going on? I just want to put these fan wires back into the fan housing. They kind of got knocked out while we were filing on some stuff. This goes down into the channel there. One. From there we can do our fan board, but I want to clean this up real quick. So excuse me while I get the vacuum out. I'm gonna mute you guys so don't blow your eardrums out. But can't deal with the desk being full of crap like that. So we'll put you guys on mute here in a second. Enjoy some music. All right, we're back. That made me feel so much better not having all that dust hanging out. I didn't get everything, but we're good enough. Okay, what can we do now? So from here, we get the board. That should go on next. The way that this goes is your Nighthawk has the pins here that need to engage the board. So we want to make sure that the board goes in with the connection to your left as you're looking at it. And from here, goes like this, and then this part goes in here somewhere. Somehow, I'm not. Like that, I suppose. It's so weird though. I feel like it should go under this plastic piece and sit flush against the fan. But it doesn't really want to do that. We can. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop this fan out. And then move this out of the way here. Let me get that wire better installed. Okay. And then I think there's a small detail that I need to remove on the inside that I forgot about. We'll just break that off. Small piece. Frees up that little arm there. That's supposed to be part of the retention system for the fan. If I go in here and I clean this up a little bit, a couple of spare lines of filament and whatever, and it didn't break super clean on the bottom. I'll just go in and take that out of there. I think that's enough clearance to allow this board to slide under that arm like it should, and then still be on top of the fan like it should. We'll see here in a second. Because I'm not super confident I got all of that. I know that I have a tool to be able to get in there. Still like a little bit hanging off of the arm. mean, worst case, we trim the arm. It's not like it's going to go anywhere once we put the fan in there. And back in. And that fits really nicely. Okay. Did you RTFM? Yeah. I've done several Stealthburners, but we can take a look if we're worried about it. Let's check it out. Where's my mouse? Okay, come over here and we'll do Stealthburner manual. Take us right to it. I don't want to download it. No, I don't want to download it. I've already downloaded it. Manual again. Go to the LDO documentation. We can do that. You see. So this is the images, right? So let's see, hardware, layout bottom, nothing, top, nothing, PDF, 3D layout, nothing there. You get your step model and your schematic. So I don't know that there's a these are all STLs. There's the Fusion files. Let me see. I'll check out your link here. Right. I don't know that it tells me differently. Oh, do I need to solder this? Cut this? Oh, if you want a 5-volt fan, got it. We're good there. I'm going through all of that. Yeah, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really cover how to do it. See what I'm saying? So I've looked at this before, Aaron, and while there's a lot of good information in here about where to plug things in or whatever, it doesn't tell me how to, you know, put it into the face of the Stealthburner. That's what the Stealthburner manual. Did you not need to make a voltage mod on the fan adapter PCB for the No. So Raj D, on this fan adapter board here, your LED is this lower port on the right, and you can see it's 5-volt ground and LED. So using 5-volt LEDs, you plug it in here, you'll be just fine. This adapter up here, this is if you're using a 5-volt hot-end fan. So if you wanted to use the stock Prusawire fan, you would solder these two pads and cut the trace between these two pads on the left. So yeah, we didn't do any changes there. Firmware just happens to be the area you're not the best. LTX Designs, you're not alone. I think a lot of us struggle with firmware stuff. And it's not because anyone is, you know, not smart. It's the fact that the documentation is scattered a little bit. And so I think there's a move to make building firmware, loading firmware, all that process a lot more plug and play. And so that's why you see things like this Nighthawk board that already comes with USB. So there's no firmware to do. You just plug things in. Who's hitting Earth at the end of the month? There's a few people going to Earth happy. I would like to. I don't know that it's going to work out though. Robin B is good at firmware, so if anybody needs help, Robin, I may reach out to you. How would you prefer people do that? Message you on YouTube, or what would you? How do you want to do it? 4 hours to figure out the for 2-wire PT1000. Holy Christmas! Well, that's why I don't mess with those. Yeah, what I don't remember is if this goes on top like that and it just sort of stands out, or if it goes under this arm. I think that's in the main Stealthburner manual. You're in mini Discord, you're in mine too. Great. So I will reach out to you if I get stuck. I think the team has done a pretty decent job at making it simple. There's a config uploaded and stuff like that. We'll see if we get there. I don't know that this manual for the official Stealthburner includes Toolhead board, so we may not see anything in here. Pretty sure it goes in the orientation that you have it in now. It does go on top. Yeah, I'm tracking Aaron, tracking Petty Ruxman. The question is, so if you can see on my screen, you have this little arm on the left-hand side that retains the fan. Does the PCB go under that little arm, or does it float on top of it? If it floats on top of it, there's a gap of like 5 millimeters between the board, and there's no support on the left-hand side for that board. And so the 2 screws go in there, and then that's about it. Yep, it's in that direction, top, it's okay. All right, we'll press with it. We'll see what happens. Need to add those 2 flathead screws in here. And that's what I'm saying. If I add those 2 flathead screws in to hold the fan as intended in the Stealthburner manual, then nothing retains the PCB. On top, the board screws in and you should be done. Okay. But I mean, this side is unsupported. You know what I mean? This side just sort of flops. When you put the fan screws through the board, screws go through the PCB. Yeah. Yeah, I know all that stuff, guys. I don't know, it's been a little bit since I built a Stealthburner. It's pretty familiar. But has been a little while. And I have not used this particular fan board before. I don't remember it being this way. So I appreciate you guys jumping in and helping out. Again, we'll give you that fancy black hardware. And I need using my LDO hex drivers here. I think as soon as we get this together, we'll start to give away some filament. You guys are in for it. Or we can not do it. Nobody wants filament. So I would say anybody that wants filament, you should probably get around to signing up, because we're going to close it here in, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. No harm in being cautious. Don't want to pull a Jeremy. You're correct. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, the board, right? It's on top, like you guys were talking about. But this left side is unsupported. So once I put that screw on there, it's gonna sort of flop around. And I don't want the connection to be misaligned. So what I would love to do is like have a spacer between, you can see that gap right there. A little bit of a gap. I would love to have a spacer in there so that I'm pressing down on something instead of, no, the board is not countersunk. The board is not countersunk. What I can do though is sort of test it to see if we match up to the clockwork. So again, that appears to be fine, but I feel like that would go in a little further. There we go. So, I mean, it goes on top like it's supposed to. I just would prefer to have a spacer in there. Hey, Shadow Queen. Hey, I appreciate the lurk. Any lurkers in the chat, you're welcome here. Those things help the channel Views are what matters most to YouTube. Lurking counts as watch time. I wonder if I have a spacer I can use. Are you good? Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna still add one of these spacers in there because it makes me feel better. I want one of you. I swear I had some M3 spacers. Try this one. Stupid 2.5. They look like M3s. You and him. Yeah. So we can do a smaller flathead cap screw, and what I'll do is use this. We have a model based on our Lino and Marlin. Button heads would be proper. We can do button heads. We can do button heads. Got all the hardware. All the hardware. Trying to get your lurking game up. Now so realistically, I do a lot of lurking myself because it's tough to be engaged all the time with everything, and so if lurking helps folks, then let's do that. I know I have a different tool for this. Where are you? I had this somewhere. I forgot what I did with them. So what we can do instead is just use a button head in here. I'll show you my trick. We'll take a button head and we'll just put that into the end of the standoff and just tighten that, and then we'll use the button head as a mechanism to use the tool to tighten in your standoff. So because that goes into plastic, it wants to move around, so you stabilize a little bit, and then once you get it going, just go right into where you need to be. And I'm looking at that. That looks a little tall. Dang it. I thought I was being super smart. I don't have a shorter standoff, unfortunately. So we'll go with it. Martin really isn't lurking. Yeah, Martin is in every stream that I watch for the most part. That guy is everywhere. But good for him. Huge supporter of the community. I know that everyone who streams appreciates that. Okay. Well, that didn't work out as planned. Let's see. Do I have more? You know what? Button head is one thing. I'll raise you some ultra thin flatheads. I am out of the correct length. Correct length button head here. We'll use some ultra thin wafer heads. It should work the same. All right. That one there, and we'll use this. I got these for a different build. I needed wafer heads for stuff. I don't remember what build it was, but I only needed like 2 wafer heads, and I was like, well, just get the kit. That way you'll have extras for whatever else. All right, there we go. Like that. Now, don't necessarily need to cut the wiring. You can if you like, what you can do is slide it up under the board like so, and then that makes things pretty tidy to be able to plug in, but you have room to maneuver if you need it. That one goes so. Use the tool to push that in place. There's your LED. It just wraps around. There's space behind the PCB. We're going to need to cut and splice in wires for the part cooling fan like that. And then we'll do the same for our hot end fan over here. Betty, you do a great job as well of supporting the community and such. This really bothers me that this thing is just kind of wobbly and floppy, you know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Hot end of the bottom right, part cooling, top left. Correct. What I should have done is pull these connections out of here before installing that board, but here we are. Let's do it right. Take it off. Now that we have an idea of how this is supposed to go together, maybe I just use M3 nuts as standoffs. Put a couple on there. I just don't like the board flopping around the way that it is. But now that it's out, I can just grab this connection and pull that guy out of there. Who's on his screen and he don't know? He just said he follows the raids. I mean, you can. That's a great way to do it. Just follow the raids. Wherever you end up is where you end up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna just add some M3 nuts onto the backside of this to add. What's Stealthburner, Cal? 1 second. I'm gonna just add some nuts onto the back of these to serve as standoffs. I really don't like the way the board is flexing like that. Again, we're giving this one away, so we want to make it nice. Alright, putting these on finger tight will allow you to tighten your screw. You see that still rotates. It allows you to tighten the screw without, binding the thing. So we'll just do 3 and 3 nuts on here. That's about 6 millimeters of standoff. And when I tighten that in, I'll have some support on this right-hand side. And we'll do, I think, just one on this left-hand side here, based on space. But Petty, to answer your question, this is it's called a lightweight Stealthburner face from a guy named AZ. You can find it on what's it called? Colts 3D, I believe. You can get it maybe on printables now. But if you just search lightweight Stealthburner face, you should find what you need. So it's the lightweight Stealthburner face. It's also the lightweight housing. You can get the whole clockwork mechanism to match in lightweight. So this is all skeletonized through here, and this is just the door. I didn't use the skeletonized clockwork face because I wanted to have that internal filament runout sensor. And you can't really see it anyway. My M3 got tight before I could screw it all the way down. There it goes. Spin that down to serve as my standoff, and that's a lot less wobbly. That makes it so much better. Just adding those 3 M3 nuts on that right side to give it some support. I feel better about that. Okay, getting down to business here. We do have some room inside, so we can make this a touch longer, probably about right there, and strip both together. Both together, and then we split the wires in twain. Cleave them in twain. All right, and then from there, we'll get the small JSTs out and use this one. Hey, good morning, Jeff. What do you guys say we give away some filament real quick before we start doing some fan stuff, or should we finish the 4 wires on fan before we give it away? So let's just crimp these 4, and then we'll give away some LDO filament. So make sure you guys, if you're not already, that you get into the giveaway. The link is pinned in chat. Pinned in chat. Go in there, put your info in. Make sure whatever YouTube name that you're using right now is the YouTube name that shows up, because I will ask you to tag me later. Knock out the fan stuff? Yeah, I think so. Finish wires. Yeah, we just got 4. So we'll do that. Take a couple minutes. Give folks a last minute chance to get in there and get some filament. I'll throw in some extra goodies this time too. That's that way. And then again, just paying attention to the pinout on the board. Looks like for your part cooling fan, this upper right port, the leftmost pin is your negative, the rightmost pin is your positive. So doing the correct orientation on the connector, leftmost pin is negative, rightmost pin is positive. Center is going to be vacant. I would imagine that's for like a tack signal. And just try to get that curved around and connected using our nippers here to hold position the best I can. This time. Come on. There we go. Connected wire is nice and wrapped around. No real strain on that at all. You've got plenty of room in there to remove the board if you would like. It's very tempting on this next one to want to just make it very short and go like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make it serviceable. So what I'm going to do is probably snip it here. And that way when I push it down, you've got this extra loop. But it's easy to tuck up under the board like so. So if I loop that around, tuck that under the board like that, and then we cut and crimp here, now you have enough room to remove that board without straining the cable. Like that, and then one at a time here. Just taking like a 2 millimeter bit of insulation off of there. And then 2 more crimps. Oh, hey, Reth, I meant to tell you this. I made contact. Actually, Vitaly reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to do some all-wheel drive stuff. He posted about it on his Instagram, so I guess that means I can talk about it. But the idea is we do a refresh on my green V2. It's a Rev A LDO kit. Keep in mind, they're on revision D now. So one of the first kits that they released, there's a lot of updates that we can do as far as quality of life improvements. So while we're in there doing all that stuff, we'll take a look at Vitaly's new kit And then he even offered to come on stream and answer your questions. You know, everyone's questions. So if you have questions about his kit, the idea is that he will be able to help you out and answer. When that's going to happen is TBD. We have to do our V0 build first, and then after that, we can talk about a green V2 and doing some other things. So probably around Christmas. That'll give everybody time to get ready and prepare. He has a 6mm, I believe it was. I don't really recall. I got to go back and review what we were talking about. I feel like he told me it was 6mm though, which is great because, I mean, 9mm. I don't know that it's super necessary on a 300mm build, especially a flying gantry. If it were a Trident with CNC'd motor mounts and stuff, then I could see that. I don't know. Again, just my opinion. I don't know that I need 9mm belts, but it would be cool. My 350 Trident runs 9mm belts, but it's also quad XY. Okay, so for this one, lower left, your positive is to the far left, your negative is to the far right. Center pin, just like before, is left vacant, probably for a back pin. Just trying to get this lined up as much as we can. Tight in here. Come on. Ooh, I just had an idea. Pick inside the vacant connection center pin, and that'll help line it up a lot better. And then from there, you can push it in place. Come on. There it is. All right, all wired up. Super neat and clean. This is why I like using a Toolhead board like the Nighthawk. So we get an easy firmware setup, we get an easy connection setup, super clean for the winner. And there's our Stealthburner face. This should match up with our clockwork. And there we go. Pretty simple. Love it. Wire for the motor. I wanted to wrap in here, and then that should plug into the back side of the board here. That. And then Nighthawk cable goes here. This is probe if you want to use it. We're going to keep it connected to the board, so I'll block that one off. And you have heater wire here, thermistor here, chamber temperature if you want to use it. It's an unenclosed printer, so that's unnecessary. And then in stops here. So we'll run our filament sensor to this port. I'm going to do that one later because I do need to solder 2 wires to come back and then add a connector. So I'll do that one off stream, but that's that. Pretty simple setup. All right, tension is going to be about the same. I think 9mm belts need a little more tension. I don't know. You tell me. Okay. That is enough of that. Let's give away some filament, courtesy of LDO. Who wants free filament? Who wants free filament? Cleaning up a little bit here. Let's go to, what are we at? Let's go to the wheel of names. If you're not in there already, you're about to be left out. Rye Guy wants free filament. That's one vote. All of us. I don't know. Let's see how many Let's see how many entries we've got. I'm only seeing 21 responses. So only 21 people want Filament, and there are definitely 42 on stream right now. So half of you want 0 Filament. Half of you want 0 Filament. First to get in was Robin B. Congratulations. So far, we're up to 22 now. So Mike finally getting in there. There's Spectra. So we're doing it. We get our last minute folks. Yeah, and join all the Discords. That just means the odds are in your favor. You're right. That's the benefit of coming to the Killer Prince stream. When we give away Filament, you got a better chance. You're not competing against 300 people. Prob too late? No, we haven't closed it yet. I'm giving you guys about 90 seconds, and then we're gonna close it. So you have 90 seconds. Lurking, listening, and learning. For more cursed printers, donate to Positron 3D for more cursed printers. I love my Positron. I've taken it to Rocky Mountain twice. I've taught STEM classes with it. I've traveled with it I was going on a business trip, and I took it just to kind of play around with on those days that I was bored. And I love my Positron. I would say it's the least cursed of the Positron printers. I'm looking forward to the other one, though. I need to build one. Cool, so that is time, everybody. If you're not in there, sorry. Good luck next time. Let's see. Let me close this. You have... All right, you have 3, 2, 1, shutting it down. All right, Filament is closed. We're not taking any more responses. Let's see how many people we were able to get here. I'm looking at 24 responses, so we only got 3 additional in that time. Let me grab all your names and pull them in. GTR Dad was our last person in. Better late than never. Not that. Let's do that. There we go. We got everybody. All right, let's do a quick check. Did everyone who signed up, are you in the wheel? Do you see your name? What is the other one? Other one what? Oh, the other one, Joseph Figueroa. Positron team announced a larger Positron, I guess, is what it sounds like. It's I forget the name of it. Aaron, help me here. I keep wanting to call it Megatron, but that's not right. Nomad was here earlier, and he shouted out the name, but I don't remember what it was. And I'm terrible with this. Proton, that's it. Proton. I keep wanting to call it Megatron because it sounds like it should be Positron, Megatron, and then, I don't know, Neutron, something like that. But Proton is what it's called. Nomad was teasing it yesterday and I think Friday as well. And it seemed to get a lot of buzz on social media. So people were excited. And maybe we do one here on stream. I don't know. You tell me. If you want to see one, let me know. Caps lock. Happy is shouting in the chat right now, and I love it so much. Okay, we ready to shuffle up? How many shuffles are we doing today? Will be cool. Yeah, I've seen a couple of photos. I need to be more engaged over there. Just really busy. So thanks for including me. 7. Mike says 7. LTX is 11, 12. We decided to add hashtags. Okay. I will jump over there and check out what your hashtags mean. 15. I don't know. 15 sounds pretty good to me. That's how I would say it if I was at home. It's redacted. Yeah, I know it's redacted. I'm being funny. All right, I think we'll go 15 just because that made me chuckle a little bit. Takes me back home. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and spin. Good luck, everybody. Maybe Tin Talon again? Looks like Tin Talon to me. Tin Talon, are you here? You have to tag me in chat so I can see you. Tag me in chat, Tin Talon, if you're here. Okay, I see you. You said sweet. You didn't tag me, though. There it is. There it is. Tin Talon racking them up. This is win number 2 for Tin Talon. All right. So cool. Tin Talon, I'm going to pass off your email address to Jason at LDO. He's going to be in contact with you to get your information on where you want your filament to be shipped to, okay? So we've offloaded that to Jason. He may take a day or two to get back to you, so just keep that in mind. But he's gonna ship you some LDO filament like this one right here. Like that one right there. Cool, congratulations. All right, we can close this down, get back to business. I don't need this Stealthburner thing anymore. Probably don't need the Nighthawk 36 stuff. We can stay on the LDO stuff. And I can get rid of this as well. Oh, these are STLs. Should be good. And this is what we'll have to do for Switchwire. So this is their GitHub. They added a GitHub to the printables page. And so coming over here, you can do all of your config through this, set up sensorless and all that stuff. So we hope to get to that. But first, we got to get this toolhead onto the machine. So taking you over to the printer itself. Is this an expensive build? The lemon lime. Yeah, LTX design, it is the lemon lime. Thanks to my really good friend over there, Reth, and his generosity, he hooked me up with that lemon lime. I don't know if you were here for our antithesis build. I can show you this guy really quickly. It's the LDO, sorry, the Polymaker. Man, it's just like super connected. So that's not gonna work out. I was gonna show you the antithesis real quick, but it's got like filament in it and dragging it around. So instead, I will show you the color. So we get the Polymaker lime green, or sorry, the Power Tool green, and the LDO stuff is roughly the same. But this is all PLA HT glass fiber, and it works fine on the antithesis, but I did crack a couple of the parts, and I don't have any more of this PLA. So to prevent it from cracking anymore or ever again, Brett hooked me up with some LDO lemon lime, and that will be what I print the extruder parts out of so that I don't crack it anymore. And it's a pretty dead-on match for the Power Tool green from Polymaker. Is the linear rail from the Core 1? It's not. You could do that if you want. This rail is it's a honey badger rail from Fabrico. I want to say it's a 300. Yeah, it's a 300 millimeter honey badger rail from Fabrico. Clean grease installed, and we're just waiting to use the machine at this point. Are you gonna build one, Spectre? You sounded like you wanted to, like you were super interested in doing it. Yeah, bomb is on printables. Absolutely right. And even better, KB3D sells a hardware kit. I think they're still available. I don't know that they've sold out yet. But they have a hardware kit that will give you all the extra hardware you need, screws and the like, to build this. There's some that are not stock stuff. I wanted to tuck these wires a little more, so I'm gonna loosen this guy, rotate that. Tuck these. You have a new in-the-box Voron Leviathan control board that I would love to have it, Lynn. Thank you. I would love to. Reach out to me and we can coordinate details. If you would send that over, I would be eternally grateful. Thank you so much. I could definitely use it. There are a ton of different projects to work on. I need to rebuild the green V2, and I would love to put a Leviathan in that. It's going to go to Quad XY, so I was planning on getting one anyway, and using the 5160s and 48 volt and all that stuff, and making it a worthwhile build. So yeah, I could use a Leviathan. You have a ruler but can't measure the core 1 rail. Cleaned your steel rule with acetone to clean off the permanent marker, and it took... Oh no! Oh no! I mean, you could do a core 1 rail. I don't know that it's any different than a normal 300 rail. So I would go with whatever you can afford that's still good quality, if that makes sense. That's gonna go there like that, and that's already looking pretty good. I know that I need 2 screws in here to hold the face on. What did I do with my... yeah, there's your affiliate link for KB3D. Thanks, Aaron. So we can use your micrometer. Don't get cheap rails. Yes, I would agree with that. Don't get cheap rails. Honey Badger are pretty good, and they're still affordable. They're not the most tight tolerances possible, because obviously the more fine and high quality you get, like with super great tolerances and all that stuff, the more that you do that, the more you're going to pay. And at some point, it's just not worth it for this project or this hobby, okay? So be smart with your money. Again, this is meant to be a fun build, not a break the bank and make you go broke build. So just do what your wallet can handle. I think Honey Badger rails are pretty decent. You could also get a Berserker rail from West 3D. If you can find a 300 millimeter length LDO rail, those are pretty decent. Or you can go AliExpress and use RDBB, or the other one is CNA. Those, I've used all those different rails. I've not had issues with any of them. I would avoid the stuff on Amazon though for like $10 or whatever. I don't know that those are the best. But again, I haven't tried them. They could very well be fine. In my experience, I've not done that. Yeah, so Aaron's co-signing. Do not use the the Amazon rails. All right, so these are meant to be loose so that you can just sort of slide in and out the tool head. I've never swapped out tool heads like that where I need it to be super loose and accessible where it just drops out. It's just not what I do. If I swap to a different hot end, that's really the only time that I swap out this. So the way that I install it is I Instead of leaving it loose where it just falls out, I tighten it just to where it can stay once I let go. But if I were to pull on that, it would come out of there. So if you just add a little pressure, it'll snap out of there. But it's not on super tight. So that's how I do mine. And we'll just move this out of the way to the right side over here. And then that should allow us to put our clockwork on that I hid for myself behind the printer, like this. So inside of here are, if I remember right, I did some nitride coated gears. So you should be able to run filled filaments through here without too much wear in your gearing. And then you've got a 10-tooth motor. This is a 20mm motor, so one of the larger ones. And yeah, it should be really nice for you guys. This goes like that. We have to route those through the side. And that goes on there like so. And then we're gonna run 2 screws through there. And I think those can be 10s. There we go. Run that down. Come on. Got to get through all the plastic in the back of the motor there. Probably needs a little bit of alignment. There we go. I know that I need a filament tube in between there. I need to measure that out. But I just wanted to make sure that things do align like they should, and we're not running into trouble. So now that everything looks good, I can cut that filament tube that we need to go in between. We just bought a Rep Box light kit. Congratulations. 2 Revo Obsidian nozzles, Core 1 filter, and a camera. Core 1 hard nozzle, new Core 1 socks. Jeez. Like a whole setup. I'd really like to play with a Core 1. I just don't have $1,000 to drop on there right now. But a Core 1 does sound amazing. CNL says RDBB. Their stuff is good too. Yeah. Happy, I agree with you. I think a lot of rails for another build I'm doing has RDBB rails on it. Oh, you just noticed the bamboo? Yeah, that's my H2D. It just crossed. I posted about this on Instagram this morning. Just hit 1,000 hours last night on this machine. I've had nothing but success on it. A couple of fails due to me not cleaning the bed or not having the right supports, but for a workhorse, it just works. Hashtag Nathan builds robots. But yeah, highly recommend that. If you can afford the money for that machine, I would get that. But now that the H2S is out, what would you guys prefer? Do you need the double nozzle, or are you cool with single nozzle, but essentially half the price, H2S? I know I have my opinions, but I want to hear from you all. Do you want the H2S, or would you go the H2D? Spectra, you did your conversion, bought your kit on eBay, saved $100, probably close to $150. Oh, are you talking like a... What kind of conversion are you... A Core 1 conversion? Is that what you're talking about? Mike wants the H2C. Okay, H2S is very tempting. Kitchell, it was for me too. Prusawire is more expensive than you planned. From a Mark 4S Core 1. Yes. If you get a Mark 4S, probably not worth it for you. This is really more cost effective to do a Mark 3, assuming that you sort of have one laying around and those kinds of things. I'm looking for some PTFE in the right diameter. Here we go. we'll cut a piece of this. And some dual colors. 4:1 conversion. All right. H2D only comes in clutch. Or comes in clutch with support. It does. It does, and that's why I love it. All of the parts for this were printed on the H2D. If you're doing 2-color anything, it is perfect. Cut this a little long, and then use the rest for other stuff. All right. I like to do this one by trial and error. Continually just put the extruder on until I get to what I need it to be, and I know that that's probably too tall. So from there, I know there's a guide that talks about it. I just don't remember what it is. StableBot. Aaron, a StableBot would be great. It's huge though. H2S is faster. It is faster than the H2D. You have less toolhead mass, so it can run higher accelerations. I was this close, that close to getting an H2S. At $1,200, it was a screaming deal at launch. I didn't because 2 reasons. Number one, I've got several projects already in the bucket, and I need to liquidate some of those before I can move on. But then also, I don't really have the space. So just to the right, off camera there, behind the Prusawire, that is where the rat rig lives. And that is the size of the H2D plus about that tall on frame. So this AMS, you can kind of barely see here. That AMS is sitting on top of the rat rig so that it can feed 2 AMSs to the H2D. So that one, the rat rig drives me nuts with the tuning and all that stuff. And so it's in timeout here in the corner. I don't have a place for an H2S because it's the same size as this one. I would love to put them side by side. And if I got rid of the rat rig, I could do 3 H2Ss across here. Maybe we get there one day, but right now I don't have the space. And so it would be silly to spend the $1,200 to not have a place for a machine to go. So I need to find homes for the other one. 22 IDEX. Oh, that would be nice. 22 IDEX is really, really nice. Pantheon would be nice. The ability for dual color and support materials. Yeah, so I think of the H2S as the successor to the X1 Carbon. There's an X1 Carbon over there on the shelf as well. Maybe we refresh that guy tomorrow on stream. So if you're available and you want to lurk a little bit during work hours, I might be streaming some maintenance stuff on that one. We'll see. But the H2S is a better X1 Carbon. It's bigger, it's faster. You get the same capability as far as AMS, multicolor but single nozzle. So it will poop a lot, but I think it would be equivalent to what the H2S, or sorry, what the X1 Carbon poops right now. But I would love to have one, I'll tell you. Anybody have a rough idea how long this thing should be? Single nozzle is fine for you. Yeah, Booty, I'm with you. I don't do a ton of multicolor printing, but I think what I do more is like on faceplates, like this one here, right? So for the Prusawire, we've got the faceplate. So something like this, I do double colors on or multicolor. That's about the extent of the multicolor I do. Usually it's a layer swap, like on the front skirt here. This is a layer swap. This is a layer swap, so you don't need a multicolor machine for that. The only other time that I use double nozzle or anything like that, specifically with H2D, is using PETG supports for PLA or for TPU or something like that, ABS, whatever. So having that built-in support material that I can just make it super flush, zero gap between the part and the support, makes it really nice. And that's where I spend a lot of time on the H2S. Right now it's printing PETG parts for the X1 cart. I think that is about right. Maybe like a 0.5 millimeter more. Let's go ahead and chamfer that a little bit. So if you don't have one of these tools, it sort of spins around. I use this to chamfer holes in parts. So if you need a little bit of clearance on a part, you can chamfer the hole out, make it nice. But also you can use it to chamfer the ends of your PTFE. You just put it in there, do a couple of spins, and it'll widen that out, allow your filament to come into your PTFE tube a little easier. And so that one goes inside there. Use the end of this to press that in, and now to ink it. All right, so that goes there, and that goes in there. Move the cable out of the way. There we go. A little bit of trial and error, and you're fine. Let's see, what are we talking about over here? What hot end? You always cut it about 0.5 millimeter long to prevent clogs. Yes. Robin B, it is a Revo V6. It's sort of the perfect setup for this. This machine is not built for speed. You can print quickly, faster than a normal Prusa Mark III, but it is not a speed demon, right? And so something like a Revo is perfect for a project like this. And if you wanted to do a high flow nozzle and get a few extra millimeters per second out of it, you could do that. Revo makes it approachable, nice, and easy. And so that's what we're going to use for this build. Sweet. You don't do color very much, but would rather have an AMS type or community MMU3 type of heated chamber for filaments, engineering filaments. Yeah, Spectra, I think you're a perfect candidate for the H2S then. That's why I want another one, because again, I don't do a ton of multicolor. This machine is overkill for what I need, but in the offhand cases that I do need it, it comes in clutch. So I like to have it for the times that I do need it, but I really kind of want just an H2S. And if I had a 2S, I might get rid of my X1 carbon. There, I said it out loud. It might take the place of my X1 carbon. Problem you have is the AFC AMS is additional wear on gears and PTFE. It is, yeah. But PTFE is not super expensive. Infinite spool is amazing to have when you're 350. Yeah, infinite spool is something that I'm looking at with the, I was talking about it earlier. Got the infinity flow down here. So this is my infinity flow. This is the infinite spool thing that I need to update. So you have two different spools on, and when one runs out, it'll automatically feed in to your printer the other one. No questions asked. Oh, and we're filament exhausted over here on the H2S, so let me swap that out. So that's the other thing too, is like it just pauses and we can swap out new filament. And I'm gonna do that really quickly. What did I do with my... Oh, it's drying. So we have the high temp dryer as well. This is the high temp dryer here. And then load it in, and it should just start going back to where it was. Do that, and then we'll say resume, problem solved, and it should feed and start printing. Done. So I love an AMS. Included heated chamber is a bonus of the X1 carbon. I agree, Boothie. Button doesn't work well. What? R button? Oh, I see, because you're misspelling everything. Spectre says, is ASA, ABS, filaments usable on the index? I don't know. I know very little about the index at all. There's not a lot of info out there. I'm sure that nozzles and stuff will come out. I don't know what the gears are made of, though. I assume that being Bondtech, they would make it hard steel. I really don't know. Let's see. You plan to mod your printer and can't mod a bamboo? Yeah. Well, that's why I have multiple, right? So I've got the X1 carbon, I've got the H2D. Everything else is moddable, buildable, custom printers that I can do whatever I want. So I like to have a little of both, because this one is the workhorse. It just prints and prints and prints, doesn't cry, it tells me when it needs maintenance, keep filament loaded that I commonly use, and just go. Things like this, because it's self-built and whatever, I like to mod, I like to change, I like to update and try new things. And so this allows me to scratch that itch while still having a main printer that I can rely on. So if I need to print a part because I did something dumb and broke something, I am able to do that. Okay, all is lined up. Oh no. I think our main board is sticking out a little too much. I'm seeing a gap on this left-hand side of the Stealthburner face. Here's a small gap, so I probably need to remove one of those M3 nuts. But I think for now it'll be fine. If I remember right, going through here, we've got M3 by 30s. Probably less, 20s. So 20s in there. And I don't know that I have any of those. But I do have the lower ones. Those are 50s. It needs to go through the face, through the fan duct, through everything. And bolt into that carriage. And this is the one that you got to be careful with, because it'll pull the on the inside of the Stealthburner face. It'll pull and break the part on the inside of the face, and so then you won't have a way to tighten stuff. So just kind of put it in to hold things together. It doesn't really need to be tight. It keeps the fan duct on and in place. It keeps the Stealthburner face where it needs to be, and then just add some rigidity. So go until you feel a touch of resistance and then stop turning, because you can snap the boss on the inside of the Stealthburner face. We'll do that. I'll find some 20s here and we'll get the rest of this on. So what do we have in the... So the Prusa spares part, doesn't look to be any 20s in there. Try whatever this is. And put these two here. I think these might be long enough to go through. Maybe. Yeah, just barely. Grab by 5 threads or so. That's enough. Yeah, these two here in the center are the ones that really hold your face on. but you still don't want to over tighten those. These lower ones just kind of support the whole thing, stop it from wobbling at all. And so you want to just not break stuff. All right, so let's do some heater wiring over here. May not need this long of a cable. I think this one, if you had a different Stealthburner mainboard, you might be able to plug that directly in with that Molex. Because these use not JSTs, but terminal block, we're gonna have to put some terminals on there. So I'm gonna have to take that off. And then same for this one, we'll have to shorten that up and add a JST on the end of it. Does Bamboo release STL5s? They do not. They don't. You owe Nomad an apology. You hear the echo on mobile now? Oh no. What a blue would be nice on a Bamboo. That's what it's printing right now, is blue PETG. So that's going to be a top hat to take a CPAP. So I'm actually going to put a CPAP on my X1 Carbon. It's already got a chamber heater in it. That's an add-on. And I'm going to add this top hat on there so I can run a CPAP hose through the back of it. H2S is tempting. H2D is too expensive. I agree. H2D is too expensive. Would rather have the XL. No, I disagree with that. I think they're two different machines. I know there's been a lot of comparisons lately about them. The X1 Carbon, oh sorry, the XL is not the same thing as the H2D. One is swapping nozzles, the other is a tool changer. In my opinion, they are not the same thing, which is why it's weird that folks are comparing the two. Again, just getting my fancy tools out to pop these Molex connectors free. Then we'll recycle this 2-pin housing into other projects. And it just comes right off. If you don't have one of these tools, you get one of these tools. I should have a link in the description that takes you to my Amazon store, and you'll be able to find these. I think I have them listed in there. But yeah, you definitely need this. Sort of jam it into the end of the Molex connection. Once you get it in, press the plunger. It pops the pin out the backside, and then you're good to go. You might be tempted to just plug those two pins right inside the terminal block. Don't do that. Put actual ferrules on the end of there. I need to make a case for these. It comes in this really nice plastic case, and that's fine. But it'd be great to have this one, and this one's a little bigger if you need a bigger connection. They come in a 2-pack. You can find those on Amazon. But I need like a single case for both of these that I can just pull out and use. All right, so that I need some terminals. I've got this case for a few years now, and I've still haven't run out. So one-time purchase for the most part. AMS is awesome for filament management. Definitely agree. You like the extruder on the H2S? So do I. Don't have the option to mod if you do get one. It's your printer. What if blue ASA GF plastic parts? That would be cool. I have some blue ABS GF. What deep pinning tool is definitely worth it? Yes, absolutely. Still want the XL? Okay. I just don't like how expensive the XL is. That's my problem. Something on printables for a case. Thanks, Beth. I'll check it out. There's got to be something out there. I'm just saying I have not taken the time to look at that kind of thing. Not because of price, but of specs. I don't know. Price plays a big factor for me, though. I don't want to pay $5,000 for a tool changer that is just kind of mediocre from the stuff that I saw. I mean, I would love to be proved wrong, but I don't have an XL. I don't know that I ever will, because I don't want to spend $5,000. on one. I don't know that I do that much tool changing where it's required. I'm looking for barrels are out. Tool, there it is. Barrel tool. Let's keep with the theme. Let's do some orange ferrules. We'll do that. And we'll keep this Molex connection for something else. Trim off these wires. This would have been easier to do off the printer, but here we are. And I'll find that later. I'll find that one later. All right, so to do this, this is like a fire resistant insulation on here. It's like a fiberglass type covering. It doesn't strip very well with this kind of stripper, right? It tends to fray the ends of it, and I suppose that's fine. But I think what I prefer, what works a little better for me, is the older style stripper. Sorry, wire stripper. I'm just not sure what I did with mine. I know I didn't toss it. Or maybe I did and just don't remember. But the older one that you sort of strip on there, you cramp on there, and then you could turn it and like pull it off. I had that. I don't know what I did with that. So I guess we're gonna do this anyway. So we'll deal with some fraying, but better than nothing. I mean, it kind of works. It just creates like these little dust particles when you're trying to strip it like that. It doesn't cut it very clean, so you end up having to come back with some flush cutters to grab all of this extra stuff and trim that away. And it's just not as nice as a FEP wire or something like that. Yeah, once we get done, we'll do a deep clean on this too. Alright, so we'll do it that way. We'll add these ferrules on here. I like to twist the ends of the wire. It just makes inserting the ferrule on a little bit easier. And then as you go, I tend to just twist it on there. And that way it just keeps that twisted wire where it needs to be. Cool. Tug test, pass. Do the other one here. For these, I tend to strip about 10 millimeters of insulation off. And that just gets it down into the ferrule a little bit longer. You like Prusa, but it looks like they're getting left behind. People have been saying that for a long time. A couple of years now, from what I remember, that Prusa's getting a little bit left behind. And then they came out with the XL and like, hey, we're not behind, we're great. And then they came out with the Mark IV, and then they dropped the Core 1, all within like the same year and a half or so ish. I think they were trying to make a statement that they're not left behind, but I would argue that, you know, those are quality of life improvements. I don't know that it's a game changer. I mean, I think the XL is too expensive for most people. I think the Core 1 is okay. I like that one. But again, it's not a huge technological leap forward. It's just a new spin on something we've all been doing anyway. So I tend to agree with you, Kitchell, is what I'm saying. What up, Mr. E? Good morning. You like the kits? You like to assemble very much? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. That's why I really like this build. This build is not that difficult. It's actually one of the easier builds I've done. And it takes old tech and makes it new, which was really the draw for me to even attempt this project. So not a lot of hardware investment. I mean, you get a Nighthawk, a couple new fans, plastic parts, a linear rail, and a piece of 2020. New belts, of course. Basically, all the stock hardware is still in place, down to the main board. So you're maybe $150 or so invested in something like this. And so if you have that old Mark III, or you pick one up on Facebook Marketplace somewhere, and you just want to give it a new life, this could be a good way to do that. My buddy picked one up for 150 bucks, and I think after a couple of months, literally like 2 months, he sold it off again to a third person. I wish he would have kept that one. I probably would have gotten it from him and just built him one of these. But I'm happy to give this one away. Going to a good cause. If you guys aren't tracking, we're still doing a raffle on this. So if you don't want to build one, or you want to wait and see if you win one, you could win this exact printer. I will box this thing up and ship it to your house if you're in the States. Happy Sunday, Liz. It is almost done. It is almost done. If you want new tech, look at the Magneto. No, I would argue H2D and H2S is new tech. Both of those are new tech, and they do quite well. The X1 Carbon, when it came out 3 years ago, new tech, and it did well. Magneto X, they were using a novel motion system with magnetic motors and whatnot. And I think that might have been a little too much. Super interesting, don't get me wrong, but I've not owned a Magneto X, so I don't know if I feel great about talking about it. But yeah, at least they tried to make it right for those that did pick up the printer. They revised a lot of stuff, sent out new parts and that kind of thing. I don't own one. I only know one person who did, and they don't have it anymore. So personally, I can't weigh in on what I would think about it. Oh, that's why you wanted to try it. Almost picked one. Dude, Mr. E, if you can get a Mark III for 150 bucks, do it. And then spend another 150 and build this. Yeah, I couldn't catch your stream, Mr. E. I was out here streaming myself, so I'll probably go back and watch it though. Tuning your second Duender now, Clownhammer. Okay. BD sensor. What do you think about the BD sensor, Clownhammer? I'm using one on the Antithesis that we built on stream a couple of months ago. It took a little setup for me. I didn't get it quite right out the gate. I had to repin and do some stuff, but I got there. What you heard is kind of hit or miss. All right, Spectre, see you, buddy. Please go support Steve. Yeah, we are going a little bit long today. I really want to try to get some progress going on this machine. And so I'll probably go another 30 minutes or an hour. I just really want to get the Stealthburner done. But then I'll join you over there on Steve's stream. So we'll see you in a little bit. You have a CNC tap you're going to put on your Prusawire. Okay. Either that or the Omron sensor that came with your LDO kit. You could do that. What's it called? The carriage for this will, I think, accept a... Yeah, it'll accept your Omron sensor if you want to put that in there. I've got one kicking around as well from my Rev A V2, my Revision A V2. This is gonna be tight to get in here. These tiny little wires. I think we can manage. Yeah, your Omron should work on this. I don't know if it's better than the Pinda or not. That's not for me to know. I'm not a super electronics guy, but I think they work kind of the same. So if you have one kicking around, go for it. H2D is pretty epic for what you're doing. Hey, K2 Kevin, thanks for joining in, man. Yeah, I like my H2D. It's over here printing away right now. It's building a top hat for my X1 Carbon. I'm going to add a CPAP to the X1. And I need a new top hat so I can run a hose through the back of it. But I agree. For making maker chips, great. I need to design a maker chip for myself. I've been really terrible at printing anything for me. It's been for the kids, for the wife. Halloween's coming up, so we're doing stuff for my job. Printing stuff for the kids. I don't hand out candy. I hand out like little minis and stuff like that for the kids. Just changes it up for them a little bit. All right, so there's that one, and that should go. But yeah, I agree, Kevin. It's H2D is perfect. I don't do a lot of multicolor. Why? I don't know. That's just not what I print. I do a lot of functional stuff, and then some silly stuff. So I did use it for this one. I'll show you this one. I was printing trophies. This is called the Shit in a Sock Award. And so we were giving these away to people that actually did the things they were tasked with doing. And they're squared away. You never have to check on them. They just operate like they know they should. So we were giving these out as kind of a gag, but also to say thanks. So I printed a bunch of these, and this is probably the most multicolored type thing I've done in a little while. Let's see. You want another Voron, Mr. E? As do I. I want a 250 Trident. And Robin B, it's for the Omron. You have to make a custom tap mount. Yeah, probably. I've got the Stealth. Sorry. If you look at a Switchwire, actually no, that uses beacon. So there's a cartographer mount for the Switchwire that may work here, but it uses a beacon. So you could use a beacon if you wanted. Better than the Pinda because you don't have a spare pin. That's fair. I guess whatever you got on hand is the best thing to use. How is my inertia cube? It is on the floor behind me. I sold the main board to someone on Discord, and because they wanted that CoreXZ, they saw it on my stream and was like, hey, I just want to reach out, see if you'd be willing. I have a project I want to do. I'm like, yeah, sure. I've got an extra main board I can throw in there. So my plan is to put a Manta in there, sell off that CoreXZ board, and then it'll be back up and going. But it's been static because I've been working on this, and realistically, all I get is Sunday to do stuff. So I haven't dedicated a lot of time. But there is our Stealthburner wired up. So double checking everything. Board plugged in. We have thermistor. We've got heater wires. I've got motor here. This is my Nighthawk cable that can go right there. And that looks like it, man. I think that's good. Only thing I have not done, and I'll do that later off stream, is connect our internal filament sensor. But I mean, we've got the Stealthburner on, boys and girls. How good does that look? I can get rid of some of this extra paper. good is that? PZ for the time being. Nozzle probe soon. Yeah, I would like to do a PZ. I did not. I thought I had a hot end available. Sorry, not a hot end, a cold side available. I don't. And that's my mistake. I would have added a PZ to this, but it's not in the cards right now. I'm not sure if I printed the right strain relief part that goes there. I need to check my parts bin over here to see if it exists. What is this? Is this it? Yeah, there we go. I needed this small little black part here. This mounts to the arm to give a cable tie down point for this kind of stuff. And it looks like we can do a little bit of black hardware here. Too big. Let's do. It's great for CoreXZ. At $70, it is rather expensive at $70. My Switchwire has one. Yeah, the Switchwire has one, but I did not do that for this guy because I just didn't have the extra. I've got the replacement board, and I've got the replacement what's it called? The PZ, the piezo. That's it. I've got the piezo part of it, and I've got the replacement board just in case I blew anything up. But I did not get the extra heatsink or the kit to make it work. I think the screw is too long. We'll have to go smaller here. What do I have? Let's see, what's in the kit? Got some 10s. Actually, let's use these 6s here. I think that's going to be enough. Just going into heat inserts in the back, so that should be enough to get 3 or 4 threads on there. There we go. That one, and then the other. Weird, come on, work. Maybe it's too small. I will use a longer one here. Oh, it's not aligned. That's why. The holes are not right. So there are 3 heat sets in this arm, and it looks like 2 of them are used. But the second is not aligned right. Like the hole is not aligned with the heat set in the plastic part. Maybe I'm only meant to use the one. That's fine. I just did not know that. There we go. We'll deal with the one. All right. You tested the microprobe on the flip and it works well for less than $10. Yeah, microprobe is pretty good, but again, it's like a BL Touch, so it's not I don't know, any faster or better. Just kind of, I guess, what you can prefer. Can I show up close? Yeah, I can show around. Let's turn this around. I'll show you what I was looking at. So it's gonna be a little bit difficult to see, but let's move this down. Let me zoom in for you. Here, and Yeah, just this little black piece here. This part here has 2 holes in it. One central and then one towards the edge. The orange part has 3 heat sets. The hole spacing is off in the black part to allow 2 different screws in here. So either I printed outdated parts and you guys have fixed this already, or that's something that we haven't caught yet. So if I tip this up, I'll try to show you down in there, but you can see that this extra hole here, so one is engaged, this one falls in between the 2 heat sets. So there's no way for a screw to go in there. And that's what I'm looking at. It's an assembly issue. The black replaces the orange part. I don't know what you mean. This goes over here, not on here. So my idea was that the wire went like that and got strain relieved. You're saying that's not the way it goes? Check the CAD. Okay. Yeah, it could totally be me thinking differently about the way this goes. Let's check CAD together. I mean, I appreciate you can DM a pic if you want to, but I think I know what you're saying. I probably have it wrong. It did look like a heat insert went in there, but the CAD that I'm looking at, yeah, so like that, it looks like I missed that heat insert. I thought it screwed onto the top of the orange part, but I see what you're saying now. So I'll just add that heat insert in there and we can press forward. It's all good. Yeah, that's me just assuming that, you know, I knew what I was doing, having built several Stealthburners. But that's good to know. I mean, it's an easy couple of screws here. Alright, so that comes off, and then we can reuse this hardware for other things and stuff. I'll pull the heat sets out of that later. And then we can add one here. Heat insert there. Alright, so this one goes in from the bottom side. So I take this part here and we'll just go in through the back. Iron's still heating up, so this is taking a little bit of time. I broke my press, and so I need to print a new one. After HTD gets done printing some top hat stuff for the X1 Carbon, the next thing I have for it is a Stealth. So no Iconic Fab is not here today, but normally he pops in. And I told him at one point I was going to build a stealth press. I have not lived up to my commitments. So I need to do that, especially now that I don't have a press anymore. There, and then one through this side. Okay. And we are good again. Alright. So cool, we're saying that both of these wires are restrained in here. I think that's what we're doing. And then just to make sure, can I move all the way over? I mean, I can. I don't like it though, if I'm being honest. Let me zoom the camera back out. I'll show you what I'm looking at. So my fear that we're gonna rub on belts is happening hardcore. So let me take you back to some room over here, knock stuff off. But let's say, you know, for example, my tool head's all the way to the right. I can secure things, but you see how tight this cable sort of is here? It's pretty tight across there. It's definitely pressing on those belts. I don't know that I care for that. So maybe I go under on the back side of these belts instead. That's why we didn't tighten things down yet. And of course I can't get my fingers in there to release the clip on the connection. Alright. So I think the best way to do this is to have this be behind the belts. That way at least they're not pulling across and rubbing. And I know you guys intended this to have TZ probe, but don't have one. I'd really like this to work. If I need to extend wiring, I can do that. Let's do a little bit of soldering and some heat shrink there. I think it mostly works. Again, on that far right side where I think it's going to home, this cable is going to be stretched pretty tight. You know, I would love for it to not be that tight across the belts. Your Nighthawk cable is very short. Nighthawk works fine. So even if I tie that off right there, Nighthawk cable seems fine. So let me adjust this here. So Nighthawk cable, right, goes in and secures right there, right? I've still got, that's pretty good for the Nighthawk cable. My problem is the probe cable. If my probe were on this side, that'd be great. But there's no mounting points on this side for my probe. So I probably just need to extend this. It's 3 wires. It's me. I have way less slack than you. Yeah, I don't know. Someone in the Prusawire Discord is using it on their Mark 52 bed. And it works. Yeah, so I'm not sure. All right, so Aaron, solve this for me here. Am I going behind the belts or am I going in front of the belts? Because going behind the belts gives me the most extra slack, but it's still not, I mean, it's enough. It'll work. Like if I pin that where it needs to be, that's enough slack, but that's behind the belt. Is that what we intend for it to be? And then the Nighthawk cable in front of the belt? And I can do it. It's fine. Just don't know. because things will, on the left side we're good. It's the right side where it gets a little tight, and then if I were to go down to the surface, my Nighthawk is still good, clears everything all the time. Probe gets a little tight, but again, it's behind the belt. I think that's how we're gonna have to go, unless I cut and splice wire. Calling me? Yeah, I can't take calls right now because I'm streaming. So it's not gonna do it. But I think I'll stick with this for now. And if I need to lengthen this guy and run it with my Nighthawk, then I will do that. Like I said, I'm still waiting on the pins to repin things anyway. So I'm fine doing that. I don't think I picked up an extra pin to probe. I might have. I just don't know where it is. So it's possible that I did not. Totally possible I did not. Okay, so I think we'll press with that for now, and if I need to lengthen that cable out, I can do that regardless of it being routed at the toolhead. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna press forward, finish this up, and call the stream. It's getting about 11 o'clock, which is a little bit longer than I normally stream for. Okay, so we're gonna go and add in 2 zip ties here. Another one here. I'd really like to route these two together, so I think off stream I'll cut, splice, make the Pinda cable a little bit longer, and then that way I can run them together with the Nighthawk. So in the meantime, I'll let's go ahead and remove this again. Just remove the cable from all of the zip ties we had. That way I can run these two together and keep them as a tight bundle. We'll just extend this out. I'll cut that there. That way we retain the connection and just add some extra wiring in. We'll solder that, make it nice, and we'll see how that works out. Yeah, I like this retention system you have going here, though. Probably add this to my Switchwire after. The way I've got it on now is not as nice as I would like it to be. It works, don't get me wrong, but it is not as simple as this solution. So this is pretty good. Alright, 2 zip ties in place. Oh great, they're they're both terrible. Okay, we'll use other zip ties here. Yeah, sometimes you get some zip ties that just don't want to zip and they break. Like the little locking feature breaks inside and they don't hold anything. It's kind of what just happened. All right, there we go. This one up in here, and then this one up on top to hold them together. I feel like you need 2 hands almost. 2 more hands to keep everything where it needs to be. I want to allow some adjustment on the pinda in case we need it, so a little bit of slack on that one, so we can have some vertical adjustment on the right hand side. These can be snugged down. Great. Here we go. That is clean. I like that. I like that a lot. Great. And then these will get routed together. And when I do that, though, it's clearly about 6 inches too short or so. Definitely don't want to proceed with that the way that it was. Just add a couple more on here to hold these two together. Have that on there snug, and we'll do one more up this way. Zip ties are free, folks. Use them up. Great. So yeah, when those two run together, that's really nice, and that stays off the belt when we move through the full range. Probably barely just touches right there, but you could fix that with a little bit of a strain relief. So if we had like a PG7 that goes right here, that would make that arch over a lot better. Oh, and also I don't have it secured on this back left corner. So once I press that up, like it removes all sort of like belt touching stuff. So we are solid right there. I just need to extend the wiring on that into probe and we'll be set. So very cool. Very, very cool. Well, folks, we've been going a little bit longer than normal, about 3.5 hours today. Made some progress. Got the Stealthburner on. We got some stuff plugged in over here. Still need to figure out some firmware stuff, so maybe one more stream on this guy and we'll be printing. Hopefully we'll do an early stream this week and get to a point where we can play with it a little bit. So I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of waiting all the way until next Sunday, we'll do at least one more live stream sometime this week. I'm thinking probably Tuesday, and then if we get through Tuesday and Thursday's an option, we'll do 2 streams this week, and plus we'll keep our regular Sunday. Okay. Loving the project so far. It seems like most of the things were kind of my fault on what I'm screwing up, but that's great. It's my first time doing it, so it's probably going to be your same experience. And so if you can learn from my screw-ups, hopefully it helps you out. But I appreciate all of you hanging out today, all 23 of you who stayed for the duration. Thank you so much. Congrats to Tin Talon for winning some LDO filament this week. I will get your info over to Jason. Yeah, other than that, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.